Welcome to Listen to English. This video offers B, 2-level English listening practice. If you want a different level, feel free to explore our other videos on the channel. Today's story is about Analise and her attempt at a 48-hour digital detox after feeling mentally drained. She has a lot to share. All right then, enjoy the story.
Hi everyone, it's Analise. So let me start today's story by admitting something I don't often say out loud. I think my brain has been slowly melting. Not literally. Of course, though, if my headaches continue, who knows what science will discover, but in a metaphorical, emotional, existential way. You know, the type of melting that comes from being constantly plugged into everything, everywhere, all the time. Over the past few months, I've felt this almost permanent fog living inside my skull. It's like someone dimmed the brightness of my brain down to 20%. I wake up tired, I go to bed tired, and between those two tired moments, I spend the day swimming in notifications, emails, and a never-ending ocean of digital noise. At first, I thought it was just stress from work. A new project here, a misunderstood email there, a deadline that always arrives earlier than expected, the usual. But then I started getting headaches, real ones, the kind that sit behind your eyes like a tiny gremlin hitting your skull with a wooden spoon. My mood got heavier, slower, almost like life was happening behind a thick glass wall. I felt disconnected from myself, from my thoughts, even from my feelings. But ironically, I was too connected to everything else. So last week, after a particularly hard day at work, I called my friend Mia. She lives just a few blocks away, and she knows me better than most people. The moment she picked up the phone and heard my voice, she said, "Okay, what happened? You sound like you're about to dissolve into a puddle," which was pretty accurate. I did feel like a puddle. I explained the headaches, the mood, the exhaustion, the constant feeling that something was taking my energy away, even when I wasn't doing anything. She listened quietly and then said, "Analise, you're burnt out, but not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind. The digital kind. You need a detox." "A detox?" I said. "Like green juice and yoga?" She laughed. "No, a digital detox. I tried one. It literally changed everything." Now, when someone tells you something changed everything, you don't immediately believe them. Usually they're exaggerating, or they read a self-help book last week and are still high off the motivational quotes. But Mia isn't like that. She's direct, practical, the kind of person who says what she means. "What exactly did you do?" I asked. "I went offline. Completely. 48 hours. No phone, no laptop, no tablet, no TV, nothing." I almost dropped my own phone from shock. 48 hours? No internet? No Instagram? No music? No recipe videos? No random cat memes? "Yes," she said calmly. "It was horrible at first, but then it was incredible. I couldn't imagine the incredible part. My brain was too busy panicking at the idea of surviving without maps, weather updates, or the ability to Google things like, is it normal to feel like your brain is fried? But then she said something that stayed with me. "You need to hear your own thoughts again." And that hit me like a surprisingly gentle punch, because I realized I couldn't remember the last time I heard my own mind without distraction, without noise, without multitasking, without filling every quiet second with a screen. So I did it. I committed. 48 hours. No devices. And here's how it went. You know that feeling right before you jump into cold water? That little moment when your brain says, "Are we sure this is a good idea?" That was me on Saturday morning, holding my phone and preparing to switch it off. I took a deep breath, closed my eyes dramatically like I was in a movie, and pressed the button. The world did not explode, though my heart momentarily believed it might. Seeing the black screen felt like staring at an empty room, uncomfortable, quiet, too spacious. I didn't realize how dependent I'd become on the small, glowing rectangle that lived in my hand, in my bag, under my pillow, everywhere. I turned off my laptop next, then my tablet, then the TV, and suddenly my apartment sounded different, almost silent. I could hear the refrigerator hum. I could hear birds outside. I could hear my own breathing, which suddenly seemed suspiciously loud. Had it always been like that? I walked around the apartment like someone exploring a museum. What do people do, I wondered, when they don't have screens? The first hour passed slowly, very slowly. Time moved like honey, thick, sticky, and dramatic. I kept reaching for my phone instinctively, on the kitchen counter, on the table. While walking from one room to another, my hand would just move toward an invisible phone like a confused magnet. At one point, I opened my bag, searching for it, even though I knew it was turned off inside a drawer. My brain was on autopilot. So yes, detox was going great. Around lunchtime, I started experiencing what Mia had jokingly called digital withdrawal, making to that I thought she was exaggerating. She was not. I felt restless, like someone had stolen my favorite toy. I kept thinking I was missing important messages, even though I logically knew nothing in my life was important enough to explode in 48 hours. I tried to read a book, but I couldn't focus. I tried to clean the apartment, but that only distracted me for 15 minutes. I tried to organize my closet. 5 minutes. Apparently my attention span had been sold to the highest bidder years ago. Then something funny happened. I started noticing things. The way sunlight hit my living room wall. The small crack in the ceiling I had never seen. The fact that my plants looked thirsty. How quiet the world felt without background noise. My brain had been running at high speed for so long that silence felt foreign. It was uncomfortable, but also a little beautiful. By mid-afternoon, something unexpected happened. I started talking to myself, out loud. Not in a creepy way, more like narrating my life, because my brain needed stimulation. Oh wow, we are drinking water, amazing. What a healthy choice, Analise. Or should we reorganize the bookshelf? We absolutely should. No? Okay, we'll sit down then. Apparently, this is what happens when you silence all external noise. Your internal noise gets very loud. But with the loudness came something else. Clarity. I realized how many thoughts I'd been avoiding, feelings I'd been pushing away, questions I'd never had time to think about. What do I actually want from my job? Why do I always feel rushed? Why have I been so tired for months? What am I afraid of acknowledging? Digital noise had been protecting me from uncomfortable truth. And now, without it, the truths were visiting for tea. By evening, something shifted. My mind slowed down. My thoughts became gentler. My body felt lighter, like I had been carrying invisible weights all this time. I cooked a proper dinner slowly, without watching anything or listening to anything. I could actually taste the food. I didn't eat quickly. I didn't rush to check anything. I was, for the first time in a long time, fully present. After dinner, I sat by the window with tea and watched the street below. People walking dogs, kids playing, a neighbor carrying groceries. Simple, ordinary things. But they felt strangely comforting. When was the last time I just looked at the world? I went to bed early. No scrolling. No artificial blue light. Just darkness and my own thoughts. And I slept deeply for the first time in months. On Sunday morning, I woke up before my alarm, which is impressive considering I always fight with my alarm like it's the enemy of my happiness. My head felt clearer, my mood lighter, my body rested. I made breakfast, and I ate it slowly. The world outside looked brighter, or maybe my mind was brighter. Around noon, I felt something that surprised me. I didn't miss my phone anymore. The urge had faded. The noise had faded. The fog had faded. Instead, I felt aware, observant, present. I even started enjoying the quiet. It felt like a soft blanket around my brain. I took a walk without music, without a podcast, without checking maps, just walking, listening, observing real life, trees, people, cars, wind, my own footsteps, simple, ordinary sounds, but more peaceful than any playlist. When the 48 hours finally ended, I didn't run to my phone. I didn't jump toward it like it was a long-lost lover. I just looked at it and I thought, wow, you controlled too much of my life. Turning it back on felt different, more deliberate, more mindful. Yes, messages arrived. Yes, notifications exploded. Yes, emails flooded in. But something inside me had changed. The fog was gone. My mood was lighter. My headaches were softer. I felt more like myself, the version of myself that existed before the constant noise. Digital detox didn't solve all my problems, but it gave me something I had forgotten. Needed. Space. Silence. And the ability to hear my own mind again.
Great job. You made it through another B2 level listening practice. In this video, you learned new vocabulary, explored real-life storytelling, and followed Annalise's journey toward clarity and balance. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend who might enjoy practicing English too. Keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next video.